This confrontation between Taylor Townsend and her opponent, Jelena Ostapenko, transpired after the American ousted the Latvian 7-5-6-1 at the U.S. Open.
Taylor, congratulations. Fiery match start to finish. We'll get to it all. Can you fill us in on the conversation you were having with Jelena out there?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's competition. People get upset when they lose, and you can't. Some people say bad things. She told me I have no class, I have no education, and to see what happens when we get outside the U.S. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I beat her in Canada outside the U.S. I beat her in New York outside the U.S. So let's see what else she has to say.
You were down 5.
Here was Townsend recapping what Ostapenko told her after the match.
Have you had any history with Jelena? I know you've played each other in singles and multiple times in doubles. Mm-hmm. Perhaps you could just talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we've played many times before. I played her in Toronto last year in singles. We've played probably before that. You know, most recently in the semifinals of Wimbledon in doubles. And no, there's never been any history. I mean, I don't know how she feels about me, but there's no, beef on my side. She told me that I have no education, no class, and to see what happens if we play each other outside of the U.S. And I said, I'm excited, bring it. I'm never been the one to back down from anything like that, but I just thought that it was really interesting. And
then when she was asked about it at her presser, she answered once more.
I chalked that up to competition. I chalk it up to, being upset, and, she pulled out all the stops to try and break the momentum. And, sometimes people do that, but it is what it is. Still is no beef, but again, like you guys saw, I didn't back down because you're not going to insult me, especially after I carried myself a certain type of way with nothing but respect. And if I show respect to you, I expect respect as well. And that's just the fact of the matter. And I think that that's tennis, right?
Ostapenko then sent this message on Instagram. Just a small update about the match. Today, after the match, I told my opponent that she was very disrespectful as she had a net ball in a very deciding moment and didn't say sorry. But her answer was that she doesn't have to say sorry at all. There are some rules in tennis which most of the players follow, and it was first time ever that this happened to me on tour. If she plays in her homeland, it doesn't mean that she can behave and do whatever she wants. In the beginning of the match, all players are supposed to start warm-up on the baseline. The opponent came out and straight away started the warm-up at then, which is very disrespectful. I believe that's at the net, which is very disrespectful, and against the rules of a tennis match. And another message would read as follows. Wow, how many messages I received that I am a racist. I was never racist in my life, and I respect all nations of people in the world. For me, it doesn't matter where you come from. There are some rules in tennis, and unfortunately, when the crowd is with you, you can't use it in a disrespectful way to your opponent. Unfortunately, for me, coming from such a small country, I don't have that huge support and a chance to play in homeland. I always love to play in the U.S. and U.S. Open, but this is the first time someone is approaching the match this disrespectful way. Thus, when a reporter in the press room summed up these Instagram statements from Ostapenko, Townsend responded.
Yeah, I mean, it's sports. Like, I feel like people have gotten a little bit soft. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's sports. Like, people talk trash. People say things, whatever. People get mad. Like, everyone has a right to feel how they feel. At the end of the day, I honestly was like shocked that it was a net court because I was ready to play the point. So she was standing at the net afterwards after she missed the shot, was like, oh, whatever. But this isn't anything new. Let's not act like this is new. This isn't the first, second, third, fourth time I've played Jelena. So if she's complaining about how I warm up, that's fine. Everyone knows this is something that I do. You can go back to the time that I played my first ever pro tennis match, and I've been doing this since even juniors. So it wasn't anything targeted towards her to try and take her off of her game or her rhythm. I just was doing my thing. And, so honestly laugh at it. I think it's comical, and, I think that it's kind of funny.
When asked by another reporter if she was shocked at Ostapenko's behavior towards her. Townsend said no, then quickly turned the tables and said, "Are you?" On Instagram, Townsend typed BTA, brought the fire, some people can't take the heat, on to the next one, love y'all. As transcribed by The Athletic, when asked if there were racial undertones to her statements, Townsend said this. She said she did not take Ostapenko's comments as a dog whistle, wrote James Hansen and Matthew Futterman. Ostapenko, she said, would have to answer for that. Then Townsend's quote went as follows. That has been a stigma in our community of being not educated and all the things when it's the furthest thing from the truth. The thing that I'm the most proud of is that I let my racket talk because ultimately I'm the one here sitting in front of you guys, moving on to the next round, getting the next check, moving on, being able to still be here and speak to you guys, and that's what's the most important. But why was she so furious at Taylor Townsend in the first place? Via The Athletic once more, Ostapenko also criticized Townsend for warming up at the net at the start of the match. Convention dictates that players go from the service line to the baseline and then to the net, but there is no rule regarding warm-up positions. In addition, Ostapenko, who had just lost in straight sets, told Townsend she should have said sorry for a shot that clipped the top of the net but stayed in play, known as a net court. Townsend said she did not have to say sorry before Ostapenko appeared to repeat the phrase, "You have no education," 3 times. Aryna Sabalenka, the reigning U.S. Open women's singles champion, was asked about this and gave this answer.
I actually spoke to Alona after the match, but during our conversation, I didn't know what happened. And, well, I have to say that she's nice, you know, she just sometimes can lose control. And she has some things in life to face and some struggles. So I was just trying to help her to, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, just not like face it more in mature way, but I was just trying to help her to like settle down and kind of like just was someone she could speak to and just let it go, you know. I think she just sometimes can just lose control over her emotions, which pretty tough. And I really hope that one day she will figure it herself and she will handle it much better.
Do you think there's something else going on off court that affected?
I think so, yeah. You know, like sometimes when you struggle with some things in life, it's of course can reflect your tennis career, and on court you're more unstable and you can lose control and you just don't understand what's going on in the moment. And then for sure, I'm pretty sure, like looking back, she's not happy with her behavior.